We got the mic open for one reason and one reason why. Like I said, we're not talking about this guy's products anymore. We're done on that. We're finished on that. But there's another bigger problem besides this joker doing, dumb stuff at the end of the day, as in trying to make our products and all that stuff and constantly failing all the time. The problem we have here is this fellow has an extremely serious fire hazard in his apartment right now. That is a buttload of freaking aerosol cans. Let me explain something to you. You cannot, and I literally had this conversation with this guy and trying to explain to him, you cannot have this in your apartment at all, period. Because that is a danger to you, your family, and also to those that are living around you. But he doesn't see it that way. Now, as I said before, either you get that mess cleaned up, or I'm going to call license inspection on Monday in California. I got their number. I'll contact them. I just talked to a few people today that are inspectors, and even they declare you cannot have 20 cans or more of aerosol cans, combustible, flammable items in your apartment. Not only that, the condition of your apartment is another problem because, again, it is overstacked with papers and books and projectors and all kinds of crap. On top of that, it's a serious health violation. You got 2 cats and a dog in a family living in an environment that is completely cluttered. And then you have hazardous, combustible, explosive materials in that environment. You cannot have this in there. If you don't believe me, I'll give them the number to license inspection. You can call them yourself and ask them, hey, go do a walk through my apartment, see if I'm violating anything. You are a serious danger to the people that are around you, also to your family members and yourself at the end of the day. And that right there is uncalled for. You can't do that. This has nothing to do with the screen paint. This has nothing to do with all the dumb stuff you did. It has nothing to do with this. This is strictly off the books. This is something that needs to be addressed. You need to get that apartment cleaned, and you need to basically remove those containers out of that environment because they shouldn't be in there. I literally had a conversation with a customer a few minutes ago, and I sat there and said, yeah, this guy's got like 20 something containers up in there. And that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, because it is crazy. You can't have them there. Aerosol cans are like ticking time bombs. You never know exactly what one of those cans may do. And you have to have this in a temperature controlled environment, which I doubt that area is. You have it too cold in there, it could trigger. If you have it too hot in there, it could trigger. Anything could happen. You got a gas line in there at the end of the day. You'll blow half of that apartment up with that nonsense in there. But if you don't believe me at the end of the day, and you think that at the end of the day, I'm joking, Monday morning, I'll make that call. I'll send down the pictures and videos that we made, that we saw in a demonstration of a YouTuber, and I had your address right over there. Here's your address right there. And I'll send them right to your front door. You think I'm joking? The reason why I'm doing that, Jamie, because again, you put yourself in danger, you put your family in danger, and you literally are putting the people that are renting at that apartment in danger also. Don't get it twisted. I don't want you Karen crying on camera and saying, oh, this has nothing to do with the paints. Not a thing. If I didn't see that, at the end of the day, it still would have been about the paints. But when I looked down and saw, I was like, what the freak? I and myself at the end of the day paint. There is no way in the world would have that much paint in my living quarters at the end of the day. That's extremely dangerous. You have something like mostly like maybe 20 something odd cans up in there. On top of that, when we did the demonstration, you swung around at the door, there were paint can containers right at the edge of the door. You do know you're not supposed to have any form of flammable, combustible material near blocking any form of fire exits. That environment you're living in right now is basically every health violation and broken code on the face of the planet. And you may say at the end of the day that, oh, you're doing it. No, it has nothing to do with that. Again, this is putting a lot of people in danger, and you need to clean it up and get it out of there as fast as possible. I don't care about your pride at the end of the day. You need to swallow your pride and get that stuff out of there. I'm not ordering you and coming bossy with you. I'm not. You literally need to get that out of there. You don't know what one of those cans will trigger off and do at the end of the day. You need to get that out of there. And if you refuse to do it, Monday morning, I'll put the call through, and I'll make sure I get a fire marshal over there too. They will contact you. They'll find you. We got your address right over here. We got your full name and your address. It's not going to be hard to track down the building and track down your landlord. And if your landlord, we find that the landlord is basically allowing this nonsense to go on in this building, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble. If I even found that I was living in an apartment and the people underneath me or over top me had that kind of stuff in the apartment, I'd drag you out of the apartment, kick the daylights out of you because I got my kids in there. If anybody had found that you had those kind of hazardous combustible materials in there, would have kicked your butt a long time ago. You put everybody at danger. You do not have a permit. You do not, it's not even zoned. That area is not even zoned to have those kind of chemicals in there. So here's your choice, Jamie. Message strictly to you. And I'm sending this message strictly over to license inspection on California. Either you get that mess cleaned up or I reach out to them right over here. I'll give them a call. I'll send over the information and I'll send over your address. And they can contact your landlord and go through your apartment to see if it's basically breaking any health code violations. And I guarantee you have broken dozens of them. But those containers you have in there are extremely dangerous and it shouldn't be in there. It should be in a garage somewhere in some room temperature area, but you should never have that much spray paint in your environment. That's way too much. Take it any way you want. All right, well, that's basically about it. Hope you get it cleaned up. Because again, this is better for you and your family. It's safe for you and your family at the end of the day. The environment is, I guarantee you, is probably very, very unsanitized. And it probably is. You've got quite a bit living in there. On top of it, like I said, with what I've seen in the cameras, where I've watched you panned out, I've seen stacks and stacks, just like, oh my God, stacks and stacks and stacks of books and papers and all clothes, just all cluttered and packed in the corners. And then on top of that, you have an explodable, combustible items in there. You have like over 20 containers of paint. That's really bad. Can't do that, man. So again, I hope you get this cleaned up. I hope you get this resolved. But if you feel that you basically don't want to do anything about it and you want to put other people's lives in danger, I'm going to make the call. All right. So you can see, I'm not bluffing with you. Your address is right over there. So it's up to you. Get it cleaned up, and hopefully it's a better environment for you and your family and your pets, and a safer environment, and it's a safer environment for those around you. All right, here's your options right there. Gotta go.